This Antipode paper is titled Migration, the Urban Periphery, and the Politics of Migrant Lives. It focuses on the lives of migrants working in the peripheral zones of the metropolitan region of Seoul in South Korea. Through this focus, the paper examines the ways in which migration regulation is involved in creating marginalization, as well as some of the ways in which migrants negotiate and challenge this marginalization by their very position in the periphery. In order to do this, I follow Abdul Malik Simone's invitation to rethink the periphery, not only as a space for marginalization, but also as one where alternative realities can be created in ways that are not completely captured by the governmentalization of urban life. While the periphery and marginalization is not something to romanticize, it is important to recognize that these geographies afford opportunities to migrants for making social networks, for avoiding surveillance, and for developing political responses that are less accessible in the urban core. The case of South Korea is instructive in this regard. There has been a significant growth in migration to South Korea over the last decade, much of which has been managed through the employment permit system that sets conditions, legal status, rights for residents, and crucially disallows long-term settlement. The employment permit system recruits migrants from countries in Asia, primarily for the manufacturing and construction sectors. Migrants typically live on work sites, and as a result, their position in the urban region is shaped by the histories of urban development that sees most manufacturing activities located in distant industrial complexes or small operations in peri-urban zones. Far from the bright lights of Seoul that many migrants imagine in advance of migration, these spaces could be seen as indicative of marginalization and differential inclusion into urban life. What this paper argues, however, is that migration scholars and activists need to do more than just record this marginalization and critique those policies that contribute to it. Rather, we also need to be attentive to the ways in which migrants generate alternative politics in these spaces, despite their marginalization. These alternative politics emerge in three ways in this paper. Firstly, there is the mobile commons that is created by migrants in the periphery, involving the sharing of information and the provision of support about jobs, employers, exploitation and abuse, support services and rights, as well as day-to-day concerns around religion, social life, and connecting with home. Secondly, the periphery is also a critical resource for migrants who have or seek to become undocumented. Indeed, the periphery provides a level of invisibility to those migrants who choose or are forced to become undocumented. They can avoid detection exactly because they inhabit spaces beyond the gaze of the state and because of the support structures of the mobile commons that circulate in the periphery. Lastly, the periphery can also be utilized as a space to generate tactics of recognition, to participate in public space, or to draw attention to the marginalization of migrants and demand better rights. Several instances of this have occurred in Seoul over the last decade, involving protest movements that draw on the mobile commons and bring migrant bodies into key urban centres to make their lives and claims visible. Drawing attention to these examples demonstrates not only that the periphery is more than just a manifestation of marginalization, but also that scholars and activists need to recognize that migrants are not passive, but rather active constituents of the urban spaces they inhabit. These insights are important in the South Korean context because they go beyond the emphasis only on marginalization and human rights issues to address the ways in which migrant lives actually involve the creation of new possibilities. The role of the periphery in the lives of labour migrants in Seoul also points to the need for scholars to explore the uneven spatio-temporalities of urban life that migrants become part of. In other related research I am undertaking, I have done this by contrasting the lives of labour migrants with those of English teachers from Anglophone countries, as well as international students at elite universities. These contrasts demonstrate the discrepancy in migrant lives, but they also show how migrant experiences surpass the categories that they are ideologically placed within. They all participate in and potentially have a role in shaping urban life. I would like to end then by inviting anyone who is interested in this research in South Korea or these broader claims about migration and urban life to contact me so that we can continue a conversation about the futures of mobility in cities.